Hey, gang. Morgan Wright here, CEO and founder of the National Center for Open and Unsolved Cases, openunsolved.org. Want to give you some quick updates. And this actually is, we're making this, we, the collective we, are making this for our group of beta testers, both law enforcement and citizens, who came together, spent 2 hours with us to be able to figure out, hey, what's working, what's not. They went through it, then they did their own testing, and then they gave us feedback. So what I want to do is I want to share with you just a little bit of that we did. It's actually pretty cool. It's a pretty cool little spreadsheet here. So as we're looking at this, I mean, it's like, well, first of all, we had over, I would say, 145 different areas of people notating things. And remember, this is both law enforcement and our citizens, our civilians that were taking a look at this. So we brought them in. They got the same access to the platform they would as law enforcement would see what a citizen sees. A citizen sees what law enforcement would see. They gave us tons of feedback, and I'm telling you, we got lots of feedback, got lots of good stuff that came out of here. So some of this is you'll see some of the feedback. Now, how we filtered this, some of these we had to make some decisions. Everything is about making decisions. So, and this will show you what part of those decision making is, right? So we have to figure out right here. Number one, have to look at it and prioritize it. Say, is this like a one or two? Do we question even doing this? Now, some of the ones were comments. We made them a zero. Not that zero indicated their value. It's just a way so that we can sort these things. So comments, things like that, were categorized as a zero. Had a few of those very good comments. We appreciate that. The other thing we had was, and then we start getting into, well, what could we do for later, right? So here's this, right? Here's what question doing these, right? But what could we do later? This goes into what we call our backlog. So we said, look, this is good stuff. But as we went through and we prioritized stuff, we said, well, we don't have money to do everything. And you can see right here, we had about 15 hours, which by the way, Whitfleet, we got up to about 18.5 here that's approved. They're just covering the other 3.5 hours. So appreciate you guys doing that. But we looked at it, we said, okay, what are backlog? We moved to backlog. Grand total, right? Some of these things. So you fixed defects. Defects were on Whipley to fix. They were things that should work that weren't working. Um, Things like enhancements or bugs. Those things we had to make decisions about what are we going to spend our time and money on. So then we looked at this. So we looked at the next part, right? Things we should do. Able to go live, but it would have a UI, UX, user interface, user experience impact. We said, look, is it too hard to read? That's a user experience as well. A user interface is something in the wrong place. Should we have a button here and it's not there, right? So the interface issue. So we started looking at, we said, okay, what could we do? And we made some judgments there about, okay, what are we going to put into those categories? And then here's the key things, right? Things we must do, don't go live without. And so why is it like scored even 10.98? Because we still had to make judgments, right? So based on the amount of time it would take and the way we sized it, and I liked what Whitfleet did. It was basically like it goes from extra small to 2XL, right? And extra large. Some things were just so large. If we had just done that one thing, it would have taken away from our ability to do some quick wins, some low hanging fruit, some things like that. So we put this all together and we came up with it. We said, okay, what are we going to do? So we did that. We went through the feedback, looked at all of these different areas here. So I'm looking over here on my screen over here. And we decided, okay, you can see the stuff that's in green, right? Some of these are green, they're approved. Some of those because of what they're scored, right? So anything 7, 8, 9, and 10, those things got up into the green area, which meant, okay, we're going to do these. Let's figure out the budget. Let's figure out the estimate of time. Things that are in the yellow, those are on the margin. Do we do those or not? Things, and you won't see this on here because we've filtered it out. But if it was red or in the lower part of the yellow or red, it's like, sorry, folks, not getting this done this time. So it goes into a backlog. It doesn't mean we forgot about some of the features and things that you made. It said we had to make a judgment between the ability to go live or fixing one thing when we could fix 10 things for the same amount of time, same amount of budget. And then just to let you know, I mean, so these are some of the things. So what we do is we take, is it a rework? Is it a defect? What was it? Some of this we had an issue with what we call type down on the address. You start typing in an address, it would display, but it would display the county as opposed to the city. Those are quick things. That's a defect, but that's something Whipley fixed, so it's approved. and then we put it into Jira. Those you folks who do software development and stuff, it's just a neat, easy way to be able to track. Okay, what is it we're doing? So Jira is a way to you put an issue in there and we track it and able to give feedback. And then the other thing we did too is we put a lot of screenshots in there too. Lots of screenshots. Here's some of the stuff we're going to fix, right? So it's not just saying, well, here's what it was, but here's what it was and here's what it looked like. For example, we made a decision here. You can see location, that's getting better. But one of the ones down here, it was right here, right? So we needed the new button. One of the things we got is that when you wanted to go add a person, there was not a new button there. There was when you went initially in, but when you were editing something, the new button wasn't there. So guess what we're doing? Very simple. We're adding a new button. Changing this from case access web page to case access portal, just small stuff, language stuff. So those are like easy wins. Those are things that we can knock out all day long. And then we're getting into things about adding a tip, changing the language. We got some feedback on that from I believe some of our peeps in Virginia Beach. So thank you. You know who you are out there. And then we're looking at just some of the other improvements. So guys, I mean, it's really nothing. It's nothing, earth shaking. It's nothing. Let me go back here to my default scene. So it's nothing earth shattering. It's nothing like, oh wow, what this is. But I wanted you to understand is that we're taking this seriously. We're taking your time, your investment seriously. We're taking the money from the government seriously because this comes from the United States Department of Justice, the COPS office, the community-oriented policing services. We're hoping that we'll get some favorable feedback from them and favorable feedback in the form of a grant, another grant. We actually just have officially got all of our statuses now so we can actually go out and raise funds. So we're starting to do that as well. So our goal is we want to get government funding so that we can maintain operations, that we can, fix things, keep things running, pay for the bills for cloud storage, operations. And then as we raise money, we have a whole program, a whole project map, which I'll share. I think that'll be a good one to share to show where do we go in 3 years. So we have things that says, look, with our budget, we can do this, right? But our stretch goals, if we had extra money, what could we do? That's where the additional fundraising from people who are out there, family foundations, individual contributors, as you put money into the National Center for Open and Unsolved Cases, Open Unsolved, we're working on getting the links for all of the stuff, guys. We're juggling 10 balls right now, trying to, as they say, build this plane in flight. A lot of things going on. You will have the ability to support us. Rest assured that all the money that comes in to support us doesn't go to salaries, doesn't go to me. By the way, here's how much I've made in 3 years. Here's how much I've spent in 3 years on this because it's important to get this done. I'm not worried about money. We get the government funding. We'll be able to create an organization with about 10 to 12 people. That's all we need because we're technology focused. It's not about putting a bunch of bodies in there and just doing things that don't scale. People don't scale, technology scales. So the reason I say all of that is that as you donate money to the National Center, you can see, and we will show you, your money's going into a project. We're going to say a project that's, let's say it's $25,000 to do this project. You're going to see as money comes in, as soon as we get that project fully funded, boom, we're executing on it. Then we're going on to the next one. We're going to prioritize the targets we want and the projects we want. And then as money comes in, you're going to see, just like they do, with the holiday things where they're doing giving, you give to the Red Cross, you give to the Salvation Army, the United Way. So, you've got that little thermometer. So we're going to do kind of something very similar. We're going to say, here's the project we need to do. Actually, I just came up with it over the weekend. Can't say about it right now because I'm still working on it, but it's a feature that I shared with the U.S. Marshals. They would love to have this feature. I shared it with two of the folks. I actually went up to the conference, the Mid-Atlantic Cold Case Homicide Investigators Association, saw Johnny Capicelli and Chris Flanagan up there. Got some good feedback from them. Based on what they said, I said, okay, here's what we can do. Came up with a new way to do this feature. That's one of the first things we'll get funded, but I need to do some more due diligence before I tell you exactly what that is, right? Don't want to give away too much too soon until we're sure, but just know as we do things, we're going to list out, here's our projects. Here's what we have funding for. Here's our stretch goals. All money that's donated goes in towards helping us meet those stretch goals and getting things done and keeping the lights on, so to speak, because we are burning up a lot of cloud storage, a lot of cloud computing capacity. So we've got to be able to pay for those things. So that's what we'll be doing. But anyway, I just wanted to show you that spreadsheet real quick. Let me just show it to you one more time. I mean, this is just cool stuff. I mean, for you geeks out there, right? But everything is lined out, right? Here's the enhancement. Here's the rework. Here's the defect. Recommended priority. The only time we have like a priority here, like if it's a 5, if it's a quick thing, like it takes a quarter of an hour, 15 minutes to do that. Okay, that's easy. We can do 4 or 5 of those, and not expend a whole lot of resources, not expend a whole lot of time. So we're getting a lot of those things. Some things now, a little bit bigger. Um, Estimates like that, anonymous info, delay on showing tips. So a lot of those things, case cleanup. So a lot of those things take a little more time. So we had to make some value judgments. So anyway, but hey, there's my buddy Mackie Pettigrew, all the way up from. Are you in Canada or in Florida? By the way, Mac, who's on there, him and I used to do several podcasts. One was called Copcast. We did 10/7 off duty. Eve's been teaching, and now he's living the life. He commutes between Florida and Canada. Retired OPP sergeant up there, the Ontario Provincial Police and the South Porcupine Detachment. I didn't forget, pal. So, but like I said, a lot of good stuff coming out. I've got a call I have to hop on here in a couple minutes. Up in Timmins, home of Shania Twain. And by the way, I believe, if I'm right too, Mac, the Olympic torch came through Timmins because Shania Twain helped carry it, and you were there to protect everybody. So Mac was there protecting Shania Twain. Uh, Thankfully, nothing happened, but it's pretty cool that I believe the Olympic torch went through there. So anyway, guys, long story short, this is what I wanted you guys to see, is that we're really doing a lot of good stuff here. And let me get back to my regular screen here. Boom, so many buttons to hit. So hey guys, thank you so much for doing this. I'll put this out again. We'll post it to our YouTube channel, but you'll find everything here, openandsolved.org. Watch the replay of what we did, and I will be seeing you guys shortly as we give some updates, and I'll go through what our 3-year roadmap is going to look like. I think that will be awesome. Okay, till then, stay safe. Make sure you follow us. We'll be putting up email list. You'll be able to sign up, and you can find out if you are connected to one of our cases. All right.